So, Kev, you're 18. Your highest month in revenue was 88K per month. You just graduated. And your friends didn't know about what you do like when it comes to business. Anyone at your age that I've seen online is like flaunting their wealth and just showing it off. Why didn't you do any of that?
My only driving why starting off, I just want to be a bit different to others. And my only goal in Fortnite was pretty much to go pro. So I paid that guy 2.5k, basically off my savings. Or the email says, you guys have these strikes and you guys are not following the GDPR. There's a big mountain to still climb.
So, Kev, you're 18. Your highest month in revenue was 88K per month. And you're the only guy in Finland who has a webinar coaching offer, if I'm correct as well. Right.
Kind of not like coaching offer, but like a webinar agency. In the Nordic, we do more full stack for the offers that we run. But US specifically, we do mostly just webinars, since it's less moving pieces and it's easier that way.
Okay. At this young age, doing everything like this, you've been in the space for nearly a year or two now. More than that, to be honest.
More. No. It's actually coming to like 2.5 years. It's actually I had like a big break in between, and then I came back, and now I've been like actively 2 years, but like 2.5 years, like total.
Okay. So at this young age doing all this stuff, how do you feel about it? Do you just reflect at times like, what the fuck is happening with my life?
No, kind of, yeah, I do. But like, if you just like keep reflecting and comparing yourself to like other peers, other friends your age, like it's gonna negatively hurt you a lot with your mindset. Like kind of coming up in this space, I used to do that a lot. And that usually kind of like shot that fire in myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good, compared to guys I see at school, or like guys I hang out with like on a weekly basis. Obviously I love them, they're great guys, but in that kind of mindset. So there's guys making 100k 200k months who are like 15. There's Zach sold the app for $100 million, was my age, so like there's a lot more work to do as well. So
okay, let's say from what you just said, by comparison there are more people who are better than you, and 90% of people who are just like normal people as well.
Right.
When you look back generally on your entire journey, most people who get into info or any kind of stuff within info either want to come here to either like because they're broke, or they have like a extreme why they have to start right now at such a young age.
Right.
But your case is not like that. You're from a good family.
Yeah.
Right. You have traveled to 15 to 20 countries by the age of 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's by default your anomaly when it comes to the entire space at that age.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about it? Why?
Yeah, I don't have any rags to riches story from homeless to living okay life. Actually come from I'm really lucky. I'm come from like upper middle class family, have a nice house, good family, good relationships overall. And it's like like coming into the space, like my only driving why starting off was I just want to be a bit different to others. Kind of more like status based, I just want to have like more power, be different, and just like make my own money as well. Because like growing up, I loved spending time on my computer, playing games, etc. So it was a kind of a normal transition. When I quit games, I went into online business and making money from it. So, but never really, like, back to your question, never really had like that strong why of like I'm dead broke, I need to make this work, otherwise I'm gonna end up in XYZ, right?
Was it just a hunger to like create something on your own, like generate cash for your own self, just because you wanted to?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's more so just hunger that, like, kind of the freedom that money brings you, kind of, and just kind of that feeling of like not having to worry about money, and like being able to buy kind of whatever you want, and being able to travel wherever you want, and like being in places like Bali. Yeah, it's like July, I got out of school a month ago, been traveling ever since that. Was traveling before that, so it's like experiences like this.
Okay, so let's rewind back a little bit. I would say, what was the starting point? What was the trigger for you that started all like, oh, I can make money generally online?
Online, generally online.
Yeah, generally I would say like entrepreneurship. How did you like? Okay, I can make money on my own instead of going to a 9 to 5.
It's actually a funny story. Back when I was like 11, 10 years old, I used to play this game called Growtopia. It's a game where you basically trade items with other, players. Like these in-game items with other players, and then you like kind of build up your inventory like that, get better items, make better items, and level up through that, right? And I was pretty good at the game. I had like all the top items you can have. I had like a lot of like these world locks that was the currency of the game. And I was like kind of getting bored of the game. So a guy offered to buy my world locks, like that in-game currency from me, with in real life money. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll just sell my whole account for him and like all the stuff I have for $100. And I realized like, oh shit, like I just made money from playing games, right? The things I love to do. So the next step from that was when I started playing Fortnite, that prime Fortnite era. I played for like Fortnite for like 5 years, almost probably 6 years, and like kind of not 5, like 3-4 years probably. And my only goal in Fortnite was pretty much to go pro, because I was addicted to the game. I was playing it every single day, 10 to 12 hours, and just like that dream of making money from playing video games was just what I was chasing. But I never really made it pro. I was really, really, really good, but I never really made it pro. So after I quit Fortnite, I kind of realized like, yeah, I'm kind of in my prime teenage years. I'm wasting my time. So I went kind of, living that, normal teenage lifestyle, going out on weekends, hanging out with your friends, doing dumb shit overall, right? And I kind of got bored of that. At some point, I was like, let me actually do something in my life. I was always kind of I had this entrepreneurial mindset. I was always trying to, find ways to make, money while I was doing like DJ shit like that, job shipping SMA, like affiliate things, NFTs. But none of them really clicked for me. Didn't really see myself doing it long term. Eventually, I was scrolling on TikTok on this one night. I came across Cardinal Mason, really funny personality, overall like a good guy. Opted into his funnel. I actually went and watched one of his webinars, right? So I got myself into the space through the mechanism that I preach right now. But through webinar, I really like his stuff. But the only thing stopping me from actually going, because Cardinal Mason, he was teaching copywriting back then, right? And I was never that good of a writer, and like expressing myself through words. So his friend Luke Alexander did appointment setting coaching and like closing coaching. So I went to him. I bought his like low ticket for like $30-40 and started learning appointment setting, right? And ever since that, it's kind of been a appointment setting, then to kind of like setter managing, dialing, closing, then into growth ops, and now webinars.
Okay. So it's a pretty crazy story of from Growtopia. You started as like a gaming thing, and I went into Fortnite, then normal teenage life, to appointment setting, closing, now this. Looking back at all this, like at let's say this happened in like 3 to 4 years, am I right?
Yeah, around 3 to 4 or 5 years, something like that. Yeah.
So let's come back to how you got into the space in general. Like you said, you got into appointment setting, right?
Right.
What made the trigger that I know that you had a period where you said you took a break.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what happened over there? Why and everything?
Yeah. So when I got first in the appointment setting, I got kind of like, when you're first starting out, you kind of take what you can get, right? So I got on this offer, thinking that I'm gonna become the next fucking Elon Musk in the next 12 months. Fucking sold the dream. Like, I sold the dream so hard. I start off finding out that I'm gonna be sending DMs through my own Facebook account. So I'm basically scraping leads through Facebook groups and then sending in them, outbound, like, yo bro, saw you're in this setting group, like you're trying to get into appointment setting. It was like a setting coaching offer. Started Arvin, by the way. I did that for like 3 or 4 months. Never really I got traction into it. So I was like, you know what? I don't really like this. I could be, doing something else in my life. And then went back to, trying a bit different things and then living that, normal teenage lifestyle on the same time. But then, summer 2024, July, I was in Marbella with my friends. Last night of the holiday, you've seen those memes of people, last night of the holiday, looking over the city on that balcony, I had that exact moment, like, like this could be my daily life if I just locked in, right? But what I did differently from the other guys who see that meme is that I actually took action and actually went at it, like all in, right? So when I got back home from Marbella, for the next 90 days, I documented my entire journey as an appointment setter. I was sending 150, 200 outbounds a day on IG, X, emails, LinkedIn, like whatever social medias I was trying to hit up those coaches to get placed on their offer. And eventually I started making money. Obviously there's a lot more ups and downs that comes to this, but that's like how I got like kind of started in the space like fully, and like how I'm here right now.
I mean, yeah, you have documented for nearly 90 to 100 days in your Twitter.
Yeah,
starting
like every
from
single day, all of my inputs, what I did, what I got, like, it's really good. So it's really fun to actually reflect on, like, on those dark times when you feel like nothing is really going your way. You just see like, oh shit, I've actually come this far. Like I'm actually made something happen.
Yeah, documenting is crazy thing. I mean, like, if I remember right, you started around July 17th.
Yeah.
2023, if I'm right. 2023, 2024.
No, I had my first post in action like 2023. It was just like I had to just post something out there. But then I had like when I started posting, it was like something around something around that time. Yeah.
Okay, so you went on for 90 days to do appointment setting for a good amount of time. What happened next? I mean, you went into closing next. How was that? From closing to webinar is a crazy jump itself. So how the closing thing happened?
So from appointment setting, I had like offers where I got fired in the first day. When I got on that, then I had offers where I made my first money, was there for 3-4 weeks, fired, right? But then offer I stuck to, I was there 3-4 months. One of the top sitters, almost top sitter, not quite. But I was there 3-4 months. I started doing dialing as well on the same offer. Did dialing, and then I was like, you know what? Let me actually get into closing, right? So I was making around 2.5k a month, 2k, 3k a month back then. I had around 2.5. No, I had like 3k to my name, right? Hop on a call with this coach. I didn't even know if it was a coach, but like a connection type of call. I got fucking sold on that call, which I'm happy for because I didn't expect it. And it actually made sense. It's a good product, a good offer, right? So I paid that guy 2.5k, basically all my savings to get into closing, right? I realized my English isn't that good as I thought it is, right? So I'm looking at this, like call recordings from other guys, and they're doing tricks on these prospects and fucking throwing out the craziest reasons I've ever seen. I'm like, I can't do that shit, bro. So what I did was I kind of took a couple steps back and started, reading books. I've never finished a full book in my life. I hate reading books, and that's like how committed I was. I was reading books out loud in English every single night before I went to sleep for 30 minutes. And after a month of doing it, I got significantly better at like pronunciation and just overall speaking and like more comfortable. And at the same time, I was doing role plays, mock calls like 2-3 times a day. Probably put in like over 100 mock calls during that time. If you've seen me in those like school free Discord servers, you've seen my free calendar like fucking in all of the chats. But coming back, I did all of that to get on an offer. Shout out Aiden, he placed me on a closing offer. Closed on that offer, did pretty well. Closed like 20k in like 2 weeks. But then it ended, and then I got back to that, like interview hell of trying to get an offer. I got like on some offers, but none of them really were that good. Obviously, like full accountability, I could have been a better closer to make them good. I could have like done things to make them better. I wasn't that good myself back then either. So I was just going through like, interviews, bad offer, get burned, interviews, don't like complete kind of like chaos in the closing career. And then kind of realized like if I keep going like this, like I'm not really making that much money with closing, like it's not really working out. So I kind of let my ego down, took a step back, went back into dialing, and then went kind of into full cycle dialing closing back then. And then at the same time I started growth operating. I met Eskil, my current business partner, on a connection call, and we started kind of our own agency. And then I left dialing pretty quick. I like full cycle dialing closing pretty quick after that to go all into growth ops, and then it's just been a journey to where I am today.
So you got into growth up through this and specified into webinar growth up.
Yes, I kind of like niche down because like we had like this good launch webinar with like a webinar funnel, and then we realized like there isn't like that many people only focusing on webinars, and those people who are kind of they have it they have the webinar funnel kind of as their skill, but it's not like their main service. They're usually pretty shit at webinar funnels. So we just like went all in on webinars and like learned everything about webinars so we can be the best of the best in the game. And that's kind of the goal right now.
Okay. So your fusion, like let's say your vision right now is just focus on webinar to be the best in the game when it comes to, is it just the Finnish market or generally the whole market?
In general, like every single market there is. And I feel like I'm confident that we are like up there when it comes to webinars. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to actually make them fly. I'm actually going to be recording a full training soon, so it should be out by the time this interview is out, so check that out from the channel.
Those plugging in. But let's go back a little bit, right? You're a guy who traveled a lot. I mean, like from what you mentioned as well, by the age of 15 you already traveled to 15 to 20 countries?
Yes.
And even now,
yes.
right? Once you started your business and everything, you first like Malta happened, Marbella. That was a London mastermind that you went, that changed a lot.
Yeah.
Then there was Dubai, where you made a promise to your friends to go on as well. You're a guy who travels a lot by nature. How did it happen by general? Why do you travel a lot?
Why do I travel a lot? It's kind of I don't know where it comes from, but like obviously younger when I was traveling it was because of my parents. I'm super lucky, super grateful for that. Actually I've been to over 20 plus countries before I even like turned 18. But why do I travel a lot, and like why I've always kind of kept like traveling as a central thing and in my life is just because like when you change your environment and kind of meet new people and like expose yourself to like new ways of thinking, it really kind of catapults you and like amplifies your growth like so massively. Like every single time I went to out of my comfort zone to travel, maybe I didn't really have the money to go there, but I still went. I met like amazing people. I've got so many good connections, so many good insights that has just made me a tremendous amount of money just from doing that. Not money only, but like also like other areas in my business and my life have like improved a lot just by changing my environment.
Okay, can you describe some of the growth you had, like personally and like financially?
And the growth I had?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever you traveled.
Yeah, coming from a like a small country like Finland, where people usually are. Finnish people tend to kind of be extremely jealous if you do good for yourself, and like nobody really wants you to win other than your family, right? And people tend to think really small, like that wouldn't work, or like that's for the American market, like that only works in the American market, or you can't really do it here, like people don't buy, or like extremely small minded, right? Like 10K a month for the Finnish people, that's like something that they can't even fathom, right? So trapping myself into that kind of environment for a long time, and I was like coming from setting to dialing closing, and then going out to travel to like different environments, meeting other people from the space that are on the same path as I am. It's like gave me a complete new identity and like new way of like seeing things from, right? Because when I was coming up, I had nobody to like kind of like there's like nobody besides me, since one of other than one of my good friends from school who does trading, fucking legend, shout out that guy as well. But I had really like nobody. Like it's a really lonely journey when you're like coming up in the space, like extremely lonely. So just like meeting other people who are on the same path as you, like just gives you that kind of not hope, but just gives that kind of confirms those beliefs and that kind of delusion you've had like all the time that this actually can work and this will work if I just put in the work.
I agree with you. I've been traveling this is the second time I've been in Bali, and the reason why I travel a lot is just literally the reason you said.
That's so fucking sad, bro.
But I mean, on the entire thing, I get you completely. The growth that happens when you're with people who
Right.
are on the same journey is much higher than the when you're just sitting alone and just working the shit.
Completely true. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, from that part, you travel a lot, right? You are a person who travels a lot. You got into webinar. Something I heard a lot when it comes to webinar, who are people who run webinar, is kind of webinars are associated with scams a little bit with how it is. And a lot of people are just hesitated to run it because even though they have a great offer, right? They don't want to be so associated like, I'm not running a scam.
Yeah. It's like people think it's like what the craziest things I've seen around webinars and like objections I've gotten is like people kind of like they think that it has like that kind of stigma around like it's like yeah, I just like convince all of these guys that I'm gonna be giving them so much value, and then it's just a event or like a webinar where there's shove my product down their throat until they buy and be the most scammy guy, like stuff like that. But like it couldn't be further from the truth actually. Some of our clients that, or like almost all of our clients that we've ever run webinars with, I always like to look at the data after the webinar. And there's on Webinar Jam, you can see where people can give you reviews about the webinar. They can like give you like 4 stars, 5 stars, 3 stars, and we average like only 5-star reviews across all of our clients.
God damn.
Which means that the value must be pretty good, and people might actually enjoy it as well. We've never had a guy like complain like, oh, like this is just worst shit ever, like you guys are just trying to scam me and sell me this shit, like I'm not going for this. That's never happened to us. It's like I think there are webinars that might go like that, but if you do it the proper way and the right way, like I don't see that happening.
Okay, so let's say just from the thing you mentioned with webinars, what is the craziest thing that happened when it comes to just working on a client?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any crazy stories?
Okay, I actually lied about that then. Because yeah, I just remember we had actually a complaint and like a legal complaint. So a couple months ago we were kind of expanding markets. Had this like crazy play that we did. We were in the Netherlands market, we were in the French market, we were in the Germany market, right? And this happened in the Germany market. Ordinary day, we run a webinar, like everything goes through the SOP, following the process like perfectly, right? Day after the webinar, the client forwards us a email saying, or the email says, hey, you guys have these strikes and you guys are not, following the GDPR. You guys are breaking data protection laws. You guys are breaking this law, this law, this law. I'm forwarding this email to the authorities of Germany.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck. And then we start like kind of researching like what could it be about, and it's about the WhatsApp broadcast group that we used. So what that basically means is like with our webinar funnel, after a lead registers, they have a chance to join this like WhatsApp VIP group, where we give them free resources, we give them reminders and like a lot of value to nurture them before the webinar to get higher show up rates, to get more people to show up on the webinar, right? But in the WhatsApp group, right, since we don't use those, community groups, we use like those normal WhatsApp groups because they're better, because you have to opt in order to see that resources in there, right? So you kind of force people to opt in. It basically exposes like individual phone numbers, like other private persons like phone numbers, which is a clear GDPR strike. And after we noticed that and we figured that out, we obviously deleted the entire WhatsApp group and made sure our client's reputation stays good and he doesn't get like any backlash from that, just to make sure that like everything is good. And I think we solved that. I've not heard from that case ever since that, but yeah, it's just kind of a good lesson that the kind of more you do business and the kind of like more you scale, your problems scale with that as well. You start like facing these legal problems and problems that like you never could have thought about, because we used to like kind of predict those problems, like, oh, usually it's like the funnel breaks, or we don't have enough closure or setters. But there's also legal problems like that can happen that you can't really predict. So it's funny.
True. That is a crazy story though, to have like a legal issue with.
No, it's good. It just shows me like what I'm doing is actually it's not just like this info fugazi shit. It's like people actually take it seriously as well, because like you're kind of trapped in this mindset where like in the info space, since it's only young people running it mostly, 18, 19, 20 years old, running big sales teams, and offer owners are 16, 17 year olds. It's not like a real business space. But once you start like facing those legal problems, it kind of gives you like a reality check, like, oh shit, I'm actually like it's a real business, right? So that's a good eye opener overall, and a good lesson.
Makes sense. Okay, I mean, you have a crazy story at a young age, like getting legal trouble with Germany itself. But let's say, I mean, you have been through a lot when it comes to business. What is the psychology that you usually do, like approaching business in general at a young age?
Approaching business at a young age, like psychology. Oh yeah. Oh bro, it's a hard one. Like getting into this space. If you don't like know me personally, I'd like to think of myself kind of like a nice guy. Like I want the best for everyone around me. And I sometimes I feel like I just like want best for everything, like everyone around me, and it's like make sure that like everyone is always like feeling good and stuff like that. But getting into the space, I thought like yeah, I'm gonna like crush with that personality and that mindset. But after I started getting fucked over by these guys who are like 3 times older than me, I realized like I gotta have like 2 different personalities in business. Like you have like the nice version of yourself, the nice guy who's funny, showing jokes, and then you have kind of that business mindset where you can't really let like shit slide. I'm gonna be more strict and like have those hard conversations with people, and like it's like face the reality with them most of the time. It's like gotta have those 2 personalities if you wanna actually like go far in business, because I've been fucked over multiple times just because I let that shit slide, and I felt like I'm doing the right decision by just not doing anything here, and it's like letting them do their thing. But yeah, it's a good lesson for any young entrepreneurs watching that. Good lesson to learn early on is that you can't really make it too far in business if you're just too nice to everyone, right?
You have to have the separate personality where it's like, yo, it's business, nothing's personal. Okay,
Exactly.
pretty good, solid advice. Let's go back a little bit, okay? When it comes to people, you just graduated, right? It's been just like a month or 2.
Right.
And your friends didn't know about what you do, like when it comes to business, completely. Bro, anyone at your age that I've seen online is like flaunting their wealth and just showing it off. Why didn't you do any of that? Why didn't you just like, yo, I'm doing a business that's making like 10,000 or 20,000, 88K?
Yeah.
Why?
Like the thing, I don't really see myself as like like that successful. I've achieved something. I've gotten through the first phase of business. There's a big mountain to still climb, but like the core reason of like why, like you're right, like a lot of people when they start businesses, like they go around school telling everybody like, yo bro, like I'm gonna be starting dropshipping soon, like I'm gonna be so fucking rich, Well, I never did that, because first of all, when you tell people about your dreams and like what you want to achieve, you're kind of like just like giving yourself cheap dopamine through that. So I've kind of noticed a pattern. When I tell people something that I'm gonna do X, Y, Z thing, usually I kind of jinx myself, right? So that's one reason. And second thing, when I actually started making money, started traveling, started like doing cool things, started like making more and more money, I just didn't want to anymore. I just wanted to kind of keep that to myself as my kind of a secret, so people don't like really treat me differently on based on that, or like view me any differently. I just kind of wanted to have those 2 separate lives. In school I can be who I am, and then after school I'm just strictly business, and it's just a good balance to have. And I was still in school, and it's like it's like didn't really want to tell anybody about what I do. Obviously there's like few friends that knew, like my close friends that I like had to tell, because I traveling constantly and going like to different places, and like working during lunch breaks and everything like that. They were kind of confused, but other than that, nah.
So, from all you just said, do you ever miss having a normal life? Because you chose to now, being in this age, like go around do something completely different from, let's say, normal people, not normal, people who are at your age.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. It's like it's not like I'm fucking, living a outer space life where I'm, you know, like I went to war to Afghanistan. I'm like here for like the next 12 months. It's like it's kind of normal to me, but I get what you mean. It's like more like sometimes when like times are like extremely fucking hard, where I feel like I like this is my time. Like this is like now everything is gonna collapse. I wish I didn't have all of this stress. I could be just, you know, playing video games and, you know, chilling. But most of the time it's just my problems that I have. There's this one quote I love is that you can't really kind of be like angry about the work that you have or stressed about the work that you have that you once wished for, because it doesn't make any sense. Like when I was getting into this space, I wished I had these clients that I have now. I wished I was getting paid what I get paid right now. I wished, you know, I had, you know, these problems that I'm kind of facing right now. So not really, but like I get what you mean. Like sometimes I feel like life could be easier if I just, you know, didn't just, you know, like went to school and just, you know, like partied on the weekends and, you know, really did nothing with my life. But that there's like no long-term return on investment living that kind of lifestyle, if you know what I mean. But yeah,
No, I get
like
you.
it's a good question. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good answer when it comes to like thinking out loud. Mostly people who genuinely just want to live your life, bro, travel the world to make like shit ton of money and just like do whatever you want at a young age. That is not generally, but let's say someone at your not your age. Let's say 3 years, 4 years younger than you. Like let's say you're 15 years old.
Yeah.
Like that.
You go for it.
Okay, let's say someone younger. Let's say you're 15 years old. What would you say, like the one piece of advice you wanna convey at that time? Shut up! I'm trying to be serious, I swear.
Success is around the corner, DM me, bro. I would just, you know, like I would look at this, you know, buy a course or something maybe for me. No, I'm kidding. So a guy who's like 15 right now, like younger self.
Anyone, like let's say 15, even 13.
The most important advice I've ever gotten that I've applied as well myself is just as simple as it sounds, stick to one thing. Because right now, where we're like, our attention is spread so thin between TikTok and all the other shit that's going around in the world, is the most important thing and the most valuable thing you can do is just be focused at one thing at one time, right? Whatever you're doing, like just try your best to make it work and try your best to be the best you can in it, because that will compound long term. You're gonna get way more opportunities by just being really good at that one thing that you would have never ever like kind of imagined. So when you're starting out in the space, most important thing, just stick to the thing that you chose and just do it as long as you fucking can, and after you even can, just keep going, because that will get you results. Okay. Because in reality, all of the business models work. Trading work, dropshipping works, TikTok shop works, e-com overall works, info works, selling courses works, affiliate work. Like if you look at those business models, there's guys making a lot of money with them. Like why couldn't you? Right?
So there's never question of like I can't or do anything else, but it's just like you can. You just have to do it.
100%.
Nice, man. But it was good having you. It was a crazy story to hear. Rarely I hear this kind of thing, but I'll see you then, man.
Alright. Thank you, Sab. Big fucking J for organizing all of this, asking you those good questions. And if you're a young guy on this journey of entrepreneurship, just stick through it. Like you're gonna have a lot of times where you feel like giving up and ending everything because it's so hard, and like, you know, just quitting would be easier, going back to your normal life. Just think about, in those moments, think about why you started in the first place, right? And just push through it. And there's always gonna be times where you feel like that, but after that you're gonna have the best results you could have ever achieved. So piece of advice, stick through it, and see you in the next video.